There's a lot that goes into selling a home in Des Moines, Iowa, or really anywhere. In this video, I'm going to be revealing the number one thing that homeowners need to do to maximize their home value in the Des Moines market. So my name's Matt. I am a real estate professional here, a real estate consultant. I work with home buyers and sellers and help them make confident decisions when buying or selling real estate in Iowa. There's two types of people that I run into. There's people that enjoy learning through YouTube. That's great. Or there's people that would rather call a professional or a friend who knows something about what they're interested in learning and sit down with them. I'm the second type. I would so much rather have a conversation with someone than watch a video. So if that's you and you clicked on this video for whatever reason, but you have questions that I can help you with as a real estate consultant, please give me a call. Got my phone number right here. I'd love to hear from you. That's why I make these videos. But if you're someone who would rather learn through YouTube, we're going to get into it and talk about, the most important thing you can do to maximize your home value before you sell in Iowa. In this video, you're going to learn how to use Zillow like a professional to find comparable sales, comps is what we call those, the importance of presenting your home both online and in person, common staging and photo mistakes. We're going to look at some examples and then talk about how you can avoid them, tips to increase your home's value without breaking the bank, and lastly, how pricing is going to set the stage for a successful sale. There's a caveat to all of this. I've got my notes here, so that's what I'm doing there. The caveat to all this is that every situation is unique. This becomes more and more apparent to me the longer I'm in real estate. These are all principles, professional advice, I would say, that's backed up by results and experience, but every single situation is unique. So while some of these are going to apply to some people, they may not apply to you. That's where your best bet is to call a real estate professional, whether it's me or someone else, and ask them for questions that are going to be specific to your situation. So the first thing you need to do in order to, not the first thing, the most important thing, the overarching theme in selling your home for the most possible money is understanding the market. You have to understand the market if you're going to sell your home and get top dollar for it. You probably have reactions often to neighbors' homes when you see them listed for sale, like, oh wow, they think they can get $500,000 for their house. That seems unlikely. I've seen their home. Those are the type of reactions that buyers have when they're looking at homes too. When homes are priced wrong or when they're presented poorly, they're like, oh, they think they can get that much. And it puts a little, not disdain, but it's a barrier between emotional attachment to that home. Buying a home is a very, very emotional decision. Buying anything is an emotional decision, but especially so real estate, because it's our homes, it's where we do life, it's where we raise our families. And ultimately, it's the buyers with those emotional decisions who are going to determine what our home is truly worth. The buyer with the offer that actually closes is the one who determines what your home is worth. So it's not directly within our control. And as home sellers and real estate agents, that can be frustrating to deal with. But the good news is that there are actionable steps we can take to influence buyers' decisions and to influence their emotional attachment to homes. The first step in all of this is going to be pricing the home properly. So if you're wanting to get an idea of your home's value and you don't want to reach out to a real estate agent, I'm going to show you what to do here. And it's using Zillow. Everybody is probably familiar with Zillow. Let's say I'm just going to go to my neighborhood, which is in Urbandale. So I live just west of the interstate. I'm not going to show you which house is mine for privacy's sake, but these are homes for sale in my neighborhood. And if I zoom in down here, I'm going to start seeing all these numbers on these houses. At first glance, to me, this looks like what the homes have sold for. One sec. But what you need to know is these are actually prices that Zillow is just estimating these homes are worth. So if we look at this home here on Horton Avenue, it's got 321,600. But if we click into this, that's its Zestimate. It's not actually what it recently sold for. That is 310,000, which it sold for in 2024. So that's a very recent sale. So what you want to do if you want to see actual data about what homes have sold for, because if you're just looking at these gray numbers, trying to use those to figure out what your home is worth, you're doing yourself a huge disservice. You can go to this tab here where it says for sale and change this to sold. And when you do this, you're going to see yellow numbers pop up. And these are properties that have actually sold recently. And we can take this a step further if we want to go to like home type and make sure that we're only looking at houses. If you have a 2-story house and you want to make sure you're not getting, or sorry, if you have a ranch home and you want to make sure you're comparing to other ranch homes, you can select single story only. That really narrows down our results even further. You can filter by square footage. If your home is 1,750 square feet, you can set a range between 1,500 and 2,000. And in doing all this, you're going to be left with homes that are very similar in size, location, and layout to yours. And that is a much better way than looking at Zillow's estimated value. Now, when we talk about presenting your home to buyers, you need to understand that the online presentation, Zillow is a good segue to this. Your online presentation is your first showing. So your photos, the way you present your home online, that is the first impression that you have on a buyer in this very emotionally charged decision. And the first weekend is very important when it comes to how much you're going to get for your home. If you look at this chart here, the data shows that selling your home in the first week compared to selling it in the 12th week, the odds are, 48% higher that you are going to get an offer at or above your asking price. That's a pretty big difference in odds. And it just goes to show that that first impression, that emotional response that we're trying to evoke from the buyer to get them in the door, to make them think, oh man, I've got to go check out this home before it goes off the market because it looks like a really great house. That's why the online presentation is so crucially important to your home sale. We're going to look at a few examples of this now. So this home here, this is a listing that expired a couple years ago. So it was listed in a pretty hot market, and the sellers, they had it on the market for 83 days and they didn't get any offers. This was before I took the listing over. You can see here the photos, I think they have kind of a yellowish hue. And then when you went inside this home too, some of the walls had scuffs on it. It didn't show incredibly well for the price point they were in. Now, then, after it didn't sell, I had the chance to sit down with the homeowners and consult with them and talk about, okay, what can we do to change the buyer's emotional response to this home so that it will sell for you? And I was incredibly excited for them because, yes, this does work. It doesn't always work this well. Like I said, it's largely a situation that we don't have direct control over. Selling a home is. But we decided that the homeowners should paint their home and also have it staged. And that, in combination with a really good photographer and marketing beyond just putting it online, that led to a home sale for $10,000 more than they had it listed for originally. And so it was a really just exciting time for them to be able to make their house more inviting. They spent about probably $5,000 or $6,000 on both the painting and the staging combined, and they ended up with $10,000 more in proceeds. And you can see just from the decor that we put in here and the furniture, it's a more, in my opinion, a more neutral space that's going to be more inviting to a wider variety of buyers than before. Another example of, this is a home that was lived in, so there wasn't room to stage it, but you can still make a home show very well with really good photos. The big selling point at this home was, without a doubt, the backyard. The landscaping was incredible. It was beautiful. And so we wanted to make sure buyers knew that right from the very start, just how great the backyard of this home was. And then we also wanted to present the inside well, even though, like, yes, it's a it's a somewhat outdated home. It's well taken care of, but a lot of this stuff is still original to the 1980s. Even like I'll get up to the bathroom. The primary suite and bathroom, that was one of the hardest selling points. It's just an odd layout. But by presenting by presenting the selling point of the home first and making sure that we presented it well, we were able to sell this home quickly and with a positive outcome for the sellers. Now, I had a few more examples. I'm going to skip these, or I'll show you quick. So now we're getting to a couple homes that are in cheaper price points than like above 400,000. This is a home where this is a nice house. It's a solid house, had a lot of functional upgrades done. So like HVAC, roof, foundation, sits on a beautiful private lot in Des Moines. And unfortunately, these are the photos. And to me, this doesn't do anything to evoke an emotional response. It makes it look small. It makes it look cramped. I think so. This is not trying to just elevate myself above others in this video. That's not the purpose of this video. This is not my listing, by the way. But I mean, it's a fairly nice kitchen for the price. It's got quartz countertops. The bathroom looks really nice in person. And yeah, I don't understand why the photos were done this way, because it doesn't show off the truly special, unique, and good aspects of the home. So this is an example of when photos work against. So the first impression, it's been on the market for 60 days, which isn't horribly uncommon, but still these photos just don't leave a good impression of the home with buyers. Compared to like this house is $175,000, well below the area median value. It's a nice home, but it's a modest home. It's not super large. It's got one full bathroom. It's an old house, but the photos here and the decorating, and we consulted with the stager here, even though it was lived in, the stager did work in a couple of rooms. The dining room was one of them, just to make it look more warm and inviting to buyers coming through. And then this bedroom was the other. It's a small bedroom, but it looks really nice in the photos because it was staged well and the photos were done really well. Last one I want to show you is this house here. I just want to touch on virtual staging because that's becoming more and more common. So the furniture in this photo isn't actually real furniture in the house. Now, virtual staging is not going to hurt your home sale. You can tell more in this photo. Like, to me, that's pretty obvious that that's fake furniture. It kind of looks like it's out of a Sims game. It's not going to hurt your home sale, I don't think. It's fairly cheap, but I personally wouldn't advise spending the money on it just because, like, yeah, it can make the photos look nice, but when you get to the home in person and it's empty, your eyes, if a home is decorated nicely, your eyes and your mind as a buyer, they are drawn to what you can do with the space to make it your own. When it's empty like this, where your eyes go are to the scuffs on the trim, the blemishes on the wall, if there's like anything wrong with the cabinets, you're so much more prone to realize the defects of the house when you're not picturing yourself there, living there and making the space your own. And that's where virtual staging really falls short, is it doesn't get that element of actually getting to see the furniture there in person, the decor there in person when you're making that emotional decision. Online, you're making the emotional decision to go and see the house. So that's step one. And virtual staging can help with that, but it doesn't do anything for step two of actually getting there in person and trying to figure out what you're going to do with that space. This was a home I had listed last year, and it had a huge, like 600 square foot addition built onto the kitchen. Cool room, but you know, when you go there, it's like, okay, what do I do with that space? It's so much space and it's all open. Having it staged actually tells the buyer and shows them, hey, here's what you can do. You can make the space look beautiful with some furniture. It can be a very functional place to live for you and your family. Last thing I'll touch on is when you're making updates to your home, this is just where I would say you've got to consult with a real estate professional about this. There are so many different nuances to what the high end of your neighborhood is going to pull for home value, how much money you're putting into a kitchen, what you're getting out of it, the quality of the finishes that you're choosing, if those are going to pay off for you. I will say cheap finishes, cheaply done is really never a good idea. If say you have like $1,000 to invest into your home before you get it ready to sell, and you're thinking about doing like just cheap LVP, self-installing it, maybe you're not someone who's cut out to do that work yourself, but you're going to anyways to save the money. I'm saying those are very real situations that people find themselves in all the time. There's nothing wrong with that. I think your sale is going to be more successful if, rather than spending the $1,000, for example, on new cheap flooring and poorly painting your cabinets, if you were to price those out with your agent and then provide a list to the buyers saying, hey, here's what we were going to do, but we know this is going to be your home. So rather than doing this, we decided to just credit you this $1,000 at closing so you can make this place your own. Here's some ideas of what you can do with this money. That is 9 times out of 10 going to have better results for you than doing cheap finishes that a buyer might not even like. I see it all the time where I'll walk into a house with a buyer and it'll have like really cool gray, cheap, cool as in like cool toned, cheap looking flooring. And the buyer will say, man, I wish they hadn't spent the money on this because they're expecting more in return, but this doesn't add value for me whatsoever. So that's my 2 cents on home upgrades. There are other instances where if your home is really outdated, but it's in a neighborhood of really nice homes, you could pour into the home, I don't know, $50,000 and potentially get $70,000 back. That's an example of when, yes, there are times where you can actually put good money into a home on high quality finishes and see a return, but it is all back to that caveat I touched on at first. It is very, very specific to your situation, and you need to have a professional that you are consulting with when you're making those decisions. And to bring this all full circle, I was touching on Zillow at the start of this for determining where to price your home. When you work with an agent, they're going to have tools beyond Zillow they can use to help you determine where to price it. But pricing a home depends on so many different factors. It depends on what time of year you're selling the home in, how long it's taking homes to sell in your market, how many months of inventory are available. All of this data that we look at as real estate professionals to determine where we're going to put your home in the market and how we're going to position it compared to the competition, which are other homes that are for sale near you. So again, when you're selling your home, presentation is important. Eliciting that emotional response from the buyer, incredibly important. Pricing is equally important because if you have a home that, let's say the fair market value is $300,000 and you present it really well, but you have it listed at $330,000, $30,000 too high is not uncommon. I see it all the time. Then when buyers walk in, they're going to think, yeah, nice home, it shows really well. I just don't think it's worth $330,000. I'm going to wait this out for the seller to drop their price, or I'm going to write them an offer now for what I think it's worth, which is $300,000. On the flip side, if you were to list your home at $300,000 or $295,000, and you were to get 5 buyers who come in and think, oh, this house is awesome, it's priced well, I really want this house, there's nothing else like it on the market, that's where you get people who are willing to pay a little bit more than your home is actually worth. And this all depends on the time of year, how many buyers are out looking, what the inventory and buying patterns in your specific neighborhood look like. But pricing the home to sell is a very, very important part of marketing it. The asking price you put on a home, that's not what it's going to sell for. Like we said at the start, the buyers are who determine the ultimate selling price of your home. But it's a very important marketing tool of contributing to that emotional response we're trying to get. If we price it right, it's going to put a scarcity mindset in the buyers, thinking that, okay, we might have to compete to get this house that we really want. That's when the best results come to you as a seller. That's where I'm going to wrap up today. This video was a bit longer. My mouth is dry. It's dry in Iowa right now. Like I said at the start, if you have any questions about this, if I can be of assistance to you when you're selling your home, if you want to talk about how to prep your home for sale, where to price it, just the strategy to move forward with a successful sale, or maybe you want to look into an off-market investor sale or something like that, like a quick cash offer. There's so many different options. I would love to get to be a resource for you. You can call me. My phone number is right here. And I have many more videos like this about the Des Moines housing market on my YouTube channel. I'll see you guys in the next one.